Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit moon making a square opposition or inconjunct aspect to one's natal north node. Excuse me. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve the moon, they can be about emotions, feelings, sensitivity, needs, responses, reactions, the public. And when this transit is basically making an adverse aspect to the natal north node, um, the emotions, the feelings, needs, responses, reactions, sensitivity, the public, these things may conflict. For example, one thing with one's future, um, it can be, say if the north node is in Scorpio, it might be future, maybe in a shared resources situation. Maybe you don't feel like doing it at that moment, or it could be some future, say, locksmithing or doing something with the occult, which includes astrology or forensics or investigation. Could be something with a sexual partner, an intimate relationship. But keep in mind, too, that these transits are not overly significant. At least I don't see them as such because they don't last for a long duration. They last for about 10 hours on average. If you're using the 3-degree applying aspect and a 2-degree separating aspect, that's 5 degrees total. The moon moves about 1 degree every 2 hours. So that's about 10 hours for each transit. A lot of times this will be happening when you're sleeping or part of the time you're sleeping. Because remember, we got 24 hours in a day, and the transit lasts for about 10 hours, and people sleep on average maybe around 7 hours or so, and I don't know the exact time, but you understand what I'm saying. And the thing, too, is they may not be overly significant because they don't last for a long duration, but you do get a number of them per year. You're going to have the moon. It takes the moon less than a month to traverse all 12 zodiac signs. So you're going to get like 5 of these transits per month. You're going to have 2 squares. You'll have an opposition and 2 inconjunct aspects. So anyway, but they do happen frequently. Now, the thing about this is the North Node is also connected with one's destiny, one's mission. So it might be a time where you don't really maybe feel like pursuing what your destiny or mission is. Say if the North Node is in Aquarius, it might be something in computers or electronics or innovation, or Capricorn, for example, and maybe some, thing you might feel destined to do something with, accounting or business or working politics or the government. It could be doing just general mundane work. North Node is also about moving forward, and sometimes there might be some emotional upsetment that may conflict with this at this time. It might be where you don't really have maybe that emotional energy to really do what you need to do to go forward at this time. It might be where you feel like you're just kind of stagnant, you're stuck in neutral, and it might be something in the past that might be prohibiting you in some cases as far as memories go from doing so. Now, the thing with the North Node too is it's connected with the development of the positive attributes of the placement. So it might be a time, again, going to the moon, being connected with the mood, the temperament. You may not feel like developing those attributes of that placement. You might not feel there's a need to at this point in time. Um, if this is in, Pisces, those attributes that you might not feel like developing at the time, they might be connected with self-sacrifice or altruism, trying to, see the whole picture and things, overlook transgressions of others, not be overly critical, which of course would be signified by having the South Node in Virgo if you have the North Node in Pisces in your natal chart. Now, the North Node is also connected with what one is aspiring to be. So it might be a time where, really the family, home, people that are at home, in your home, it could be people you're close to home with, prominent females in your life scheme. They might not be really, maybe they're not really into, or might not be agreeing at this time what you are aspiring to be at this time as far as your future aspiration, what you're actually the kind of person you are aspiring to be for whatever reasons. Say if the North Node is in Virgo, it could be one, that's all very analytical and detail oriented, somebody that's about organization. And the thing is, remember the North Node is at the opposite point of our South Node. Sometimes, I mean, we could be very, South Node represents what we feel comfortable in, and we become complacent. And I think sometimes if people see, that expression of your own South Node energy, they might get used to that as well. So at times you might have people that might actually not be in agreement with the energy that you may be trying to express that is associated with the North Node placement in your natal chart. Now, another thing about this is that the North Node is also connected with issues that one may have to confront or address. So if there's some issues, say the North Node is in Aries, it might be something where it might be some issue where you might have to deal with something through some kind of confrontation or some kind of argument or something where you really have to stand up for yourself, and it might be something that you just don't feel like doing at this time. It's interesting that the moon is connected with the unconscious, and again, as I stated before, a lot of times you could be sleeping during this transit, but I think what I always wonder, what I theorize about this, is that maybe in some cases people may actually feel more like sleeping in contrast to doing the things that are connected with the North Node in some cases. So it might be anyway. And the thing is, another way that this transit could manifest and pan out, it could be a mother, a family member may conflict with your future. It might be their needs, maybe are taking precedence over what your plans are for your own future. Say if the North Node is in Aquarius, as an example, it could be a future of being independent, maybe something that's more freedom oriented. It could be a situation with, maybe doing something with astrology or astronomy, or expressing, selflessness, doing things that are group oriented, going away, of course, from the South Node energy, where it's more, Leo, which would be more attention seeking. North Node in Aquarius could be more about blending in with a group more, and less about being more unobtrusive, not really seeking the spotlight. Now, anyway. In some cases, too, another way this transit may be expressed, it could be past memories, may impact what you're aspiring to be. Now, say if the transit moon is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, maybe there's some, insecurity issues or some kind of fear of ridicule and criticism that may be impacting what you're aspiring to be. You may not feel like developing the positive qualities of the North Node placement at this time. Say if the North Node is in Gemini, as an example, it might be, being more versatile, diversified, showing shrewdness, more about street sense, you could say. In contrast to the South Node placement, which is more about higher education, being Sagittarius is more about higher education, learning more beyond high school, and where the South Node, North Node in Gemini could be more about being directed toward using, your street sense more in contrast to like book sense. So anyway, and the thing about it is, or even North Node in Gemini can also be about manual dexterity as well. Now, also to remember, keep in mind the moon is associated with our reactions and our responses. There may be more difficulty in responding to things that need to be addressed and confronted at this time. Now, say if your natal North Node is in Scorpio, as an example, in the 12th house, it could be matters pertaining to insurance, which is Scorpio. Fraud, with 12th house could be fraud. 12th house is the house of deception and duplicity. Could also be about maybe trying to deal with a really, manipulative, hidden adversary as well. If the natal North Node in Scorpio is in the 12th house in your chart. Another thing too, this could also be about issues, with the stomach or the chest, the breast, water retention, which is associated with the moon. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, there may be issues again with the stomach or the chest, the breast, water retention, which of course that's anatomically connected with the moon. They might be causing there be more difficulty in really pursuing like your future goals, your aspirations, what you're aspiring to be at this time. And those are some ways that this transit can manifest. And remember, again, I'll reiterate, this is not a very protracted or prolonged transit. It doesn't last for a very long time. It can be just, you know, something where in some cases you might not really even feel really the impact of it, but you do have them frequently. So, some of them you may feel a little bit stronger than others you may not. So, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.